I was browsing my local Dollar Tree for seasonal decor, as one does, when out of the corner of my eye, I spotted a hello pumpkin wreath. Yoink. I knew this had to come home with me, and it was begging to be yarnified. So I went over to the yarn section, and, well, nothing was really jumping out. So I decided to skip it and just go home and shop for my own stash. Definitely plenty to choose from. First up was picking a green for the leaf. And then, oh, so many oranges to choose from. But this burnt orange was really jumping out. Last up, brown for the stem. Now that we have it all, let's go. Welcome to Corgis and Crochet. Today we are taking our lovely wreath form from Dollar Tree and turning it into this awesome pumpkin. We are just going to be doing a lot of single crochet for the main wreath part, and we're going to add a little bit of a twist. It gives it some awesome structure, makes it a little bit more of a pop. And then we have brown up here, and then we have some leaves and a little bit of a curly key vine. So let's get started. Now, in addition to our wreath form, I just love the name of it, I'm going to keep using that, and our scrap yarn that we chose, our orange, brown, and green. We will also need a 4.5 millimeter hook for the main body of it and for our first leaf. And then to kind of make the leaves a little bit different size and get some variety in there, we also have a 5 millimeter hook. Also, scissors are great, and a darning needle, which I do not have at my desk because I am that prepared. Grab your wreath form, snip off the tag, obviously. Grab your orange yarn and your 4.5 millimeter. Form a slip knot and attach. So there are several ways you can do this. You can attach anywhere you would like. Personally, I started over here, did each of these, and then went around. I found that to be a little bit easier if you keep it attached and then you go down here, go up here, go down here, go up here, go down here, then you're going to end up with a couple that are just not done. So doing the middle part makes sense to me, and then the outside. So we are going, this is probably going to be really loud because we are going to grab this. Let's zoom in just a little bit here. We will take this, and mind you, this is going to be very fiddly. We have our slip knot on our hook, and we're going to pull up and just do slip onto there. Slip it on. I like to hold on to this so you have a little bit more stability. Now you can start up here, but it's a lot easier to start working here and then slide. Now that that's on, keep in mind this first stitch is going to be extremely slippery, as will be the first ones. So again, we're just doing single crochet. So go underneath, grab your yarn, yarn over, go through 2. Go underneath, yarn over, grab it, and then pull through 2. Super, super simple, right? Single crochet. And as you can tell, instead of just weaving in my ends at the end, there will be a couple you'll have to weave in. I like to just go over this This is not a blanket. This is not a wearable garment. You're not gonna, possibly break this loose and you want to weave back and forth, back and forth. This is just fine. And I don't know about you, but if there's less tails to weave in at the end, I am a very happy person. Now, I didn't mention, this is a 4 worsted weight yarn. You can go chunky, but I would definitely change your hook size for that. You can go smaller, whatever your heart desires. I personally just chose something I had in my stash. Once you have a nice little bit, I'm going to pull up a loop there. I'm going to take, and very, very carefully, because you don't want to snip your yarn that you want to keep on there. Snip off that end. And also, I'm going to zoom out just a tiny bit here. We are going to start pushing this up to the top. And then we're going to keep going until we reach the bottom, and I will actually meet you there. All right, now as we're getting down here to the end, this is where you kind of need to assess how much you want on there. Don't worry, that will be covered as we're going on the outside. So there is, zoom out, our first part done. Moving to our second part, just like before, making our slip stitch, and I am again attaching it here in the middle and then sliding as I go. And I'm holding on to my tail to give it a little bit of stability. Working yarn over here, this slip over here, yarn over, pull through. So you are attached. Then kind of hold your tail over here so you can work over it. Yarn over. Go through 2. So I am going to go ahead and finish up the rest of these. So I will join you back when we are starting on the outside. So now we've completed our first couple sections, and now we are going to move on to the outside. You might notice that these are starting to twist a little bit. Again, almost there. Don't worry about them quite yet. They're going to twist a little bit more until we are fully ready to get them into the shape we want them. So up here, you'll notice that the pumpkin kind of goes, that's the proper terms. And so we kind of want to have it, I have it start right here in this corner. Don't worry so much about the twist right now. Twist will come later. And again, you're just doing it so you're not seeing any of this green. You're just doing enough so it is nice. I keep hitting my mic with this, so if you hear weird sounds, I apologize. So now where I looked like I was at the very end, kind of by scrunching it down just a little bit, I now have that much left to go again. And if you were noticing as we were speeding up there, I had to keep adjusting how I was holding this, how I tried different ways holding my hook. Sometimes you just got to go a little bit creative to get this last little part on, especially down here at the tip. We're holding our crochet in a very unnatural way. Almost there. Again, just kind of assessing. A little bit more green than I'd like. Swipe it down a little bit, or slide it. And then for good measure, let's do 2 more just to make sure that we are really where we want to be here. I lied, 3 feels good. All right, again, we're going to assess, see if all the green of the wire is covered. Again, don't worry so much about the twist right now. The twist will come later. Hold that up so you can see. Yep, I think that is pretty good. So what we're going to do, just like you would do with normal crochet, pull up the slip or yarn through, cut it off. Now when it comes to these ends down here, this part gets a little difficult in between to work with your yarn. So what we went ahead and did is I made a little ball. That way it's a little bit easier to go in between for when it twists, rather than trying to fit an entire skein through. So this is likely to roll a little bit. Let's be smart. Put it in this cute little basket. Also from Dollar Tree. I'll put it over there. And again, we're forming our slip knot, and we're starting up here. Honestly, this is a project of do whatever you need to do to get to where you're going. The amount of angles I've had to twist this at is fun. We'll put it that way. So make sure we're grabbing our working yarn in our right hand, and my left hand, but slip that slip knot on to that spot right there next to this little join. We're going to end it kind of dipping down. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and work over our tail again, and I just noticed that was split, so fix that. And remember, the first one is always going to be rather difficult, and again, you just kind of have to maneuver any which way. Now for this, I am very much a knife grip crocheter. However, in some sections, it is easier to go pencil grip. So, for example, down here, kind of having to do a little bit of a combo just to get that little section. If this is easy for you, then I am very jealous. This is definitely not an easy process. Part of the process for me. All right, good enough, right? I think so. So I'm going to grab my scissors and very, very carefully snip that. Making sure I am not cutting there or there. That would be very bad. Okay, flip it back over. And I'm going to attach it to this section right here. So the best way I found is to tilt and just go in where you can. Preferably through 2 loops. I don't want to go on the top of this necessarily, but kind of the side. There we go. There's some leverage. And then I'm just going to slip and slip and then tighten that up. And then the first couple stitches here, again, are going to be a little wonky, a little hard to do. And then it does get better. Oh, this is easier than that middle part already. What was I just saying? Again, sometimes we have to be a little creative. In fact, we're holding our hook in, I guess this is still technically pencil grip, but modified pencil grip is what we'll call it. And kind of push everything down. If there's a little bit of green showing in the back, it's not the end of the world. No one's really going to flip it over. If that bothers you, absolutely. When you come back through and you're weaving in your tail from the orange, you can wrap it around that section, wrap it around there, so it really hides it all. Could I just do it from the back side? I just had that realization. Maybe. But why make life easy for yourself, right? Promise I know what I'm doing, even if right now it might look like I do not. Now this one I did put a little bit more than I'd like. I could frog a stitch or two, but we're just gonna keep it. Now this is where the twisting is gonna start for this section. Once we attach it to this next section, next row, we're not gonna be able to go back and twist it because it'll be stuck in place. So this is where kind of get to decide how you want it twisted. You can go super tight of a twist. I like the look of a somewhat loose twist. So if you wanted to go tight, it's all just a matter of rolling it. So you can go super, super tight. Or what I did, this is where having this as a ball is so much better. There we go. I have it about like that. You can see that okay? Oh, perfect. And now I'm going to, once you're satisfied with that, I'm going to attach it to this next section. Again, as we're going in from above, I just grabbed an end on this section and I am just doing a failed slip stitch. Take 2. Perfect, there we go. Now, keep in mind that how this twist is ending, your next twist is going to start, you want the top to be up here. So while we're putting the stitches on, doesn't matter, not so much, but when you're attaching it to the next section, keep this in mind. You'll also keep it in mind for this section when we get to it. All right, so I like how that is twisting. I like how, or not twisting, I like how that's filled. So I'm going to pull up a little bit, and then this is where we're keeping close attention to where this ended. So maybe even zoom in a little bit closer. Here we go. So I have this twisted, and I have it joined here. So for this, you notice we're kind of going like that. So we want to keep twist going the same way. And this is also where we kind of eyeball, make sure we're getting about the same size twist in between the two. Okay, so notice this one is kind of ending down here, as is the natural. So what we're going to do is take this guy, twist him underneath, and then we are going to join down here. Again, any which way you can attach. Ooh, there we go. And perfect. Helps if I do that on screen. And there we go. Now we have this lovely long section. I'm so excited to have a longer section. A little bit easier to work, especially because it's at the end. So let's get to crocheting. All right. So now we have gotten to the end of this section. We're going to flip it over again, and we're going to go back up here. So we'll notice again that this right here is twisting towards the back. And this obviously needs to follow it. So as that's twisting down, let's see. So as you see, it's going in the back. We want this to line up with it. Right there. So I'm going to move this first twist so that it naturally looks like the yarn is just twisting the way it's supposed to. Then I am going to do it back from the front again. So I know that this is where it needs to be. And then here we are just going to start twisting. And again, this is where we are very happy to have this on a ball, because this bottom part is going to get real twisted. Now make sure as you're twisting that it does go all the way around. Sometimes it is a little deceptive and it'll kind of stop right there and you're like, ah, okay, we're good. No. It needs to twist all the way so you get that full twist moment. Again, I'm trying to make sure that the twists are fairly even here, so they're not all of a sudden tight twist with a long twist. This is just kind of an eyeball. And if you want, again, if you want the tighter twist, go for it. This really is kind of an artistic decision. Okay, and now we are here. Ooh, excuse me. To the end. And, oh, that part turned out a little bit funky. Okay, so now I think we're kind of twisted the way we want to be. I'm just going to go back up, make sure. And perfect. I like this is Done. Now, this is 2 corners coming together. So now is where we're going to start worrying about this. So this kind of connected on the bottom up here. And I'm going to make sure it kind of looks a bit like it's twisting from the same section. And just twist. Now, this depends on how OCD you are or how much it's going to bug you. Make sure you're twisting in the same direction. And I just noticed that's what I was doing, is this is twisting that way and this is twisting that way. So if you want these to be twisting in a different way, gives it a little bit of a different look, a little bit more dimension, go for it. If you want these matching, make sure that you are looking at the way you've been twisting and change the direction. So I've been having it go this way. So let's fix the twist. Twist again, like we did last summer. So I now have these twisting that way, and these are twisting that way. And yes, I did have to double check. Make sure I'm not crazy. So up here, we're going to kind of have this twist like this, and we're making sure that we are going to be twisting that in the right direction. Kind of move this down, make sure we're evenly spaced. At right here is the problem I was talking about. So notice how this is going all the way underneath, and then this one is being deceptive and stopping right there. No, you have one more twist to do, sir. In fact, we'll do another little half twist here. Perfect. All right, make sure this is how you want it to be and that it looks great to you. All right, now we're going to attach it. So again, make sure this is how you want it twisted, at least the direction. These will obviously move a little bit as we're going along and maneuvering as we're getting the rest of these sections, and we'll fix it at the end, but have your general path set up. Okay, looks like these, add a little bit, oh, sorry camera, have an extra twist here so I can have them join. See again, sneaky, sneaky. One more twist down here too. There we go. Okay, going up again, making sure we don't have any sneaky ones. All right. Now we are going to go and attach this. Making sure that we are just going through. Just the end down here. And slipping those two together. Perfect. All right. I'm going to keep going around the rest of these, and as you're going, just work on the tail. Just cover up the tail, and then when you get to a certain point, carefully snip it. And then I will meet you. We have made it all the way around. Made sure, again, as we were talking about back here, to match where the twist is going. So I kind of made sure as this twist was going around, it matched where this twist ended, and then this twist continues on all the way up and to the top. So this is where we are going to test it again, or not test it, excuse me, twist it again. So it looks like this comes down, and this we can kind of have meet up like that. This met up over here, so it can kind of go like that. And let's see. There's also a little bit of room for manipulation up here. I think I want something like that so I can have the ridge meet right there. So let's go ahead and get those together. Make sure you leave enough of a tail to weave in. All right. So again, I kind of like how that whoops down. So this is where we're going to take our needle. Now, if you struggle getting yarn through this, I learned this trick a while ago, and I think most of the time I would say I can get it through on the first or second try, and now it won't do this. Take your needle, rotate it so that the eye is facing towards you. Take your yarn, lay it on top, and then pinch it really good underneath, and then pull out the needle, and then kind of wiggle it through. Perfect. So that just makes the yarn a little bit more compressed and easier to grab. All right, now this is where if it bugs you, you can grab grab the yarn and twist around the corners. I'm not worried about that. There's a little gap right here, but the brown, once it's attached, will cover up a multitude of sins. So, and you can see right here, I do have a little bit of a gap, but I'm also going to play with that weaving in, see if I can close it up a bit. So just take it, and it's a little tight, but go underneath, and make sure you are also going back the way you came, so it is really sturdy on there, not going to move. Now for a wearable, I've learned that the trick is to do this 3 times, once one way, once another way, and then once again. But for this, I'm not too worried. Famous last words. And then we're going to very carefully cut super close. This is how much I had left of my little yarn ball I made. So it definitely helped with the twisting, and especially on these edges, having to twist and pull my yarn through. Okay, now let's move on to our stem. Grab that brown yarn. Like before, we're doing a slip knot, and then slip stitching it onto this. Now, if you find it easier to go from the back, just make sure you're twisting those stitches around. It really is just whatever is easiest for you. So that's where we're about putting this on. I'm going to slip stitch that on. And as before, we are going to single crochet. Oh my goodness. So hold on to the tail, kind of keep it a little more stable. Go underneath, grab that yarn, pull up that loop. There's 2 of them. Yarn over, go through both. Now on my original one, I did extra brown stitches and I made it super compact. I pushed down really hard and added as many stitches as possible, not even just to cover this green wire, but also just to kind of give it a little bit more kind of dimension and pop. I'm not going to do that this time, and I will show you at the very end the two of them so you can decide which one fits your style a little bit better. And once I get up a little bit, I'm going over the tail, I hold on to the tail and push that down. So I really know that knot or that tail is in there. Okay. I will meet you as we are getting to the end over here. And we are done. I just have to weave in this end. I wanted to show you, I kind of love how this naturally is laying. It's kind of, I don't want to say crinkly, crooked and fun. So does this have to match the rest of your pumpkin? Absolutely not. Let me show you my previous one. It's a little bit better if we flip him over in the back. If you see on this guy, I over put things on. And so it is a really, really tight twist. For this, I think we're just gonna leave him a little funky like that and not even try to twist him. So we're gonna go ahead and weave in the end, and then it is leaf time. Woohoo! All right, with our green yarn, we are going to start with a 4.5 millimeter. And then if you want a second leaf, go ahead and jump up to a 5 millimeter or even a 5.5, a 6, depending on how much bigger you want that second leaf. I love how it looks, just tiny little bit bigger / smaller than the other. So grab this. So this leaf pattern is actually by Get to Hooking Crochet. I will leave a link to her video. If you are not following this woman, like, please do. She is hilarious. She is great patterns. Definitely recommend giving her a follow. Okay, before I finish it off, I'm going to do one more thing, but I just wanted you to see the shape of this. Isn't this just like the perfect pumpkin leaf? I saw so many other different types of pumpkin leaves, but this was my favorite because pumpkin leaves have that kind of center and they just have that like curl to them. You need a reference. We'll try to put a photo right there. All right, so when I make the bigger leaf, I will just finish off here. But for this smaller one, I want to have that little bit of a twirl that you see for those vines. So what I'm going to do is I am going to chain 20. Perfect. Now what we're going to do is we're going to work backwards. So I'm going to skip that first one and I'm going to go into the second chain from the hook, and I am going to do 2 single crochets into that same chain. So 1 and 2, and then I'm going to do that all the way down. So that next chain space, I'm going to do a single and a single. Now you can see as we're going along how this is just starting to twirl all on its own, kind of like a little pigtail. Finishing that off. Now from here, what I will do is I will slip stitch again into that middle. And pull that up. So you end up with this really cute leaf and this cute little vine. So go ahead, if you like just one, feel free to just attach it to the top if you're done, or if you're like me and feel like one is just not enough, then go ahead and make a second one in a bigger size or the same size or whatever you would like, different color of yarn. Have fun with it. And here you see it all attached. Now I kind of moved them a little bit side to side and attached them that way with the tails and then weaved them in just so they had a little bit more off center, because I feel like if they were right on top of each other, it wouldn't look as cute. So kind of do a little off center. This one's a little bit bigger, and then you have this cute little curly Q vine. Now, I hope you enjoyed making this as much as I enjoyed making it twice. Please, if you create your own, I would love to see it. Go ahead and tag me on Instagram. I love to see this in like a hot pink, in a blue, in a black, whatever you would like. Show me a stem that is, you know, fluorescent purple. Just make it your own, have fun, and happy crocheting. I'll see you guys next time.